First-party data, I think, is the holy grail of retail media, and everyone is after it. And the reality is that retailers, they hold a wealth of data on how people shop, when they shop, what they shop, how frequently they shop. And these kind of insights are usually accessible only for retailers. That's why we call them the walled gardens. And that data, it's very, very valuable for brands. Because on the brand side, having that data allows them to have very targeted, measurable campaigns. But also for retailers, as I said, it's a great way of unlocking a new stream of revenue that has a very high profit margin. And also for shoppers, they can benefit from very targeted offers in a way that's privacy compliant and in a context that makes sense to them. So I feel like, unlocking that access to first-party data, it's a win-win-win for everyone.
Retail media gives you access to first-party data in a couple of different ways. The first is the first-party data that retailers have access to. Because when we shop, we have to have things delivered. We're quite comfortable sharing our name and address, and often consent comes with that. So retailers use that in delivering better advertising to their shoppers, for example, in the search ads or the display ads. The second way that you can use first-party data is you can upload some of that in a privacy-protecting way, for example, to Amazon DSP, and as a brand, you can then use that to do positive or negative targeting. This allows you to reach different audiences in different ways with different messages.
Retail media first-party data, I think it's still in its infancy, in all honesty, in terms of how effective we are currently using it. But the ability for a retailer to provide transactional point of sale data and loyalty reward scheme data, which are both considered first party, are going to be hugely impactful. They will allow a consumer to have a better personalized experience because you can effectively, show them the right ad based on their current behavior. That would incorporate also things such as, their search behavior. If they're searching for a specific product on your site, that intent is so clear that it allows you to, really make sure you're providing them the right solution for what they need right at that moment.
So it depends whether you're talking about brands or retailers. If we start with a retailer, the number one benefit is the extra income and revenue stream that comes from it. But the second benefit is if it's done well, consumers and shoppers like it, and it's driving additional basket value and perhaps even frequency of shop. So it's driving overall success. If we look at it from a brand perspective, it's a really good opportunity to sell more by using the levers that have become available and to learn more about shoppers, which has often been invisible in a physical environment. We can see their behavior, see what they're searching for, see what they're reading.
The fact that you are able to make smarter decisions and you're able to provide more personalized targeting means that the consumer experience should be enhanced. You should make it easier for them to find the product they're trying to buy, and you should be able to give them the offers that are relevant to them at that moment. Again, that is a benefit for the consumer. It's a benefit for the marketer because they're now able to make those smarter decisions. And it's a benefit for the retailer because they're facilitating that conversation.
Top two benefits of retail media is highly measurable. Oftentimes the media is consumed at the point of purchase, which makes it very easy to tie directly to something like sales or ROAS. The second biggest benefit is particularly relevant, which is that it's privacy safe.
I think that the main benefit is first-party data. Because if brands have access to those insights, that means they can unlock better targeted campaigns, which then means that the paid media money are being spent in a more efficient way. For retailers, because they unlock this new revenue with a high profit margin, it means that they can partly reinvest this revenue in better paid media products. So I would say it's a virtuous circle for both retailers and brands.
I'd say top two challenges. One is scale. The benefit that Amazon has had over perhaps the others is the scale, which has allowed them to build that highly targeted, highly measurable system with vast amounts of data. How can individual retailers that are not the world's largest online store do the same thing? The second is really basic, but it's education. And I think that there is a misunderstanding of what retail media is. You ask 5 different people, they'll give you a different definition of retail media.
I would say the challenge of the industry in general is that it's still seen as a only performance and transactional media type for most advertisers, especially those who just started with it. We still need to find our way on the weekly agenda also of agencies, because what I see is that agencies are, some of them, still new to the business as well. They start building their retail media competence center, but the exchange with the retail media networks is still, let's say, improvable.
We have done our own study actually at Skai on retail media, and we spoke to many CMOs, we spoke to performance marketers, and we spoke to agencies. And the two things that came out most predominantly were both measurement based. The first one being, how do you prove ROI and incremental impact of your retail media across all those different retailers? And the second one being, how can you then link that to like true business impact? And they're both really challenging.
Secondly, the complexity. It is the intersection of media, it is the intersection of retail, it is the intersection of e-commerce. And people are coming with different definitions, different language, different ways of talking, and actually underlying that there are different business models.
Forecasts don't make markets. I expect retail media to grow, to become larger than linear TV by 2026, but the market needs to make this happen. We are, despite a large market already, including Amazon now at 7.9 billion, in the pre-adolescent phase of that market. We need measurement, common definitions, best practices, and standards. And we as an IAB have just formed a working group bringing buyers and sellers and also national IABs together to tackle those issues to ensure that these forecasts can become reality.